Great.
Okay. All right, guys, it's Michelle, and I'm super excited to have Radlyn Mendoza here of GardnerandMendoza.com. You can visit her website. It'll be right below this video. She is an immigration attorney in Virginia and who has been growing leaps and bounds in her business in this past year. She's in business with her husband. She's passionate about her kids. One story that I love about Radlyn, and I just love it because this is how I do things too, but she said that, she picked up her kid from school. She picks them up, just kind of for whatever reason. She's off early. She picks them up, and she said, the reason she writes in is in the neighborhood. Like that's her reason that she's picking the kids up. I just love that about her. I think it just really speaks to women who wow and how we do business as well as how we do life. Kind of a unapologetic, no excuses, not going to make something up. It's sort of like I'm in the neighborhood. That's why I'm getting my kid. I love it. Radlyn is super accomplished in business, in the legal field, and also incredibly just grounded in life. She loves her kids. She loves her husband, her family, and her community, and of course her clients. This comes through in everything she says and does in her practice, even how she envisions the future of her practice. And I'm honored to have her first as a Women Who Wow member, but also secondly as just part of this video interview series, which is the Practical Profits interview series focused on Women Who Wow members. So welcome, Radlyn. I'm excited to have you here. And
thank you.
I just want to dive in.
You're too kind. First of all, thank you for all the kind words. You're too kind. And I'm just so pumped up to even be a part of this group. And, it all started with our first meeting, when you gave me that coaching session. And after that, I thought, I've got to join this group. So anyway, I'm happy to be a part of it.
Good. I'm so thrilled to have you, and I love your business. It's so full of potential and everything. And I actually have something to discuss with you privately. You have broken my rule of 3, which means like if I'm thinking about you in bed or in the bathtub, and I'm not sleeping with you, I didn't give birth to you, like we need to have this conversation. But so it's just this idea I keep having for you. So we'll follow up on that later. But
okay,
thank you for just your kind words about wow. But can you tell us a little bit more about your business and what you've accomplished in 2016?
Yeah, absolutely. So my husband and I started this law practice in 2000. And when John and I met in law school, I believe it was 1996, 1997, we, of course, fell madly in love with one another. And we were absolutely inseparable in law school. And one of our goals in law school was to, we've got to always be together. We got to start our own law firm. And I always wanted to do that. And, when you're in law school, you kind of get pulled this way, you get pulled that way. Big law firms are offering so much more money and opportunity than, of course, what you could do on your own initially. So we started this law practice, and we absolutely had 0 clients. And
you were living on love.
We were living on love. One of our we always talk about how one of our favorite activities was to go to an office furniture warehouse store to look at office furniture. I mean, that's what we would do, because the phone wasn't ringing. Anyway, we started to niche out our market. And we actually initially set out when we opened our law practice to cater to the Hispanic community in the area, because it's completely underserved.
Right.
And once we started doing that, the phone started ringing, and we just had a genuine appreciation for the fact that these clients were not being served. We immediately got, a receptionist, front office person who could speak Spanish, because our Spanish was, it was okay. It was okay. We had just come back from Spain with the intention of serving this community. And we had a very lucky change in immigration law, where we, one fine morning, we immediately had 150 clients,
Wow.
all of a sudden. So that was just fantastic timing and great luck, but also, our hearts were there to serve that community, and that's the community that came forward. So that's kind of how we started. And people always say, how can you guys work together? And I say, how can we not work together? So in 2016, we had some, let me see, 2016, it's almost 2017. So we hired an associate, I believe, at the end of 2015, Spanish speaker, wonderful personality, and she came on board with us. Perfect fit for us. And we were growing, I think, growing dramatically because of the political climate, of course, that we've been having and that we are currently in right now. Right. And that we tried to use that to our advantage. When President Obama, he was introducing a new executive order that would help millions and millions of undocumented aliens, the parents of U.S. citizens, children, and lawful permanent resident children. And that never came to fruition. But during that time when we thought it was gonna happen, we brought people into our office. We gave out free seminars on what you would need, what a person would need in order to qualify for this. So we really reached out to our tribe and just brought them in to give them this information, this very helpful information. Obviously, we want, and I always make a joke, when somebody comes into the office and I say, you know what, there's really nothing I can do for you right now. You're an undocumented person, but I'm going to put you in my database. Okay. And if the law changes, we will get in contact with you. And I always make this joke because they kind of look at me like, yeah, right. I was like, look, the reason we're going to get in contact with you is because I'm going to be able to help you and you're going to pay me.
That's right.
So it's a win-win situation. They always laugh and they always think that's the funniest thing that I actually say that. Like, I'm going to get paid, bro.
Right, right.
This is going to happen. So we brought that attorney in, and she was wonderful, and she got on the radio. And my Spanish is pretty good, but I do have insecurities about it, not being a native speaker. But she just was out there on TV, on the radio, just kind of killing it with her Spanish. And then, unfortunately, she moved away, but she's still working for us remotely.
Good.
But, what happened to my associate attorney? Family happened. Life happened. Right. She had a baby. And we all go through this as women. You have a baby, and she was here. She's not from the area. She wanted to be home and be home with her family so her daughter could grow up with family around her. And she kind of felt like a stranger here. So, we lost that person in the office because life happened. And so we've got to be able to adjust and adapt to that sort of thing. But 2016 has been a fantastic year. Again, just great growth. I think in the end, we're seeing about 30% growth. And for 2016, in the very beginning of the year, it was a lot higher just from last year's numbers, just because of, again, the political climate and the uncertainty. And as business owners, we've got to use that to our advantage, not to sound not like we don't care about the situation, but use it. Even if you personally don't feel like whatever your political views are, I don't care.
That's right.
You know what I mean? How can I help you after this? Right. After this aftermath with a person who has been talking about illegal immigration, deportation. What can we do? What can we do to help? How can we step out of the community? And that's what we're about. And I think it's about giving back so you can get back. That's and right. Then another thing is that I've really been thinking about just one of the things I want to do in 2017 somehow is to have a nonprofit arm. I'm not exactly sure how that's going to work. I haven't quite worked it out. But when I was a little kid, I grew up in my family's grocery store, ethnic grocery store. So I have experience with this community since I was like 7 years old, until I left to go to law school. So and that's what made me want to go to law school is to help these customers I saw, and I saw this just day in and day out. It was hard. It was hard to figure out the legalities. Our customers, our grocery store customers, talking about how they got screwed over on a contract, or even my own parents, that happened to them. So I've always wanted to go back and help these customers because they kept my family going, and it was rough for us to have that grocery store open. And as business owners, and you guys, all the WOW members know this, and all the people that are listening to this, we know that running a business is tough financially. The profit margins, everything. But when people look at you from the outside, like, oh my gosh, Michelle Pittman's rolling in the dough. And that's what they thought about my family. We were freaking broke all the time, you know?
Right.
And so I that was my intention. Like when I was this little 8-year-old kid, I was like, I'm going to go and I'm going to be a lawyer and help all these people. And I have done that to an extent, but I want to do more. And I want to do it for free, you know, or slow bono. And that's one of my goals in 2017 of just trying to figure that out. Because when I see people come into my office, and they're undocumented. And I'm not saying that they're just struggling.
Right.
And when I have to quote a fee to somebody, and I say, all right, I can fix this problem for you, it's going to be $10,000. And I have to swallow it. I have to jazz myself up to say $10,000. And I'm looking at this family, and I'm just like, how in the hell are they going to come up with $10,000? They do. It's a struggle. They make the major sacrifices. But obviously I have to pay my amazing staff.
Sure.
And, put food on the table for my kids. And that's kind of a cliche. But I need to do more, you know, and that's my intention for 2017. So it's been an awesome year. And, you know, we have another attorney in the office because Barbara left. We've got another Spanish-speaking attorney in the office. And just, it's all good. It's all going to be great and work out. And I know that it is. And you have to know in your heart that it is going to work out.
Yeah, that's so awesome. And I just want to go back because I think that, a lot of people watching would really catch on to something you said, you know, that, you know, you've had a political climate that has brought people into your office, right? And we don't want to, it's not that we're kind of taking advantage, but sometimes, you know, outside forces kind of force people to off the fence, right? It kind of forces people to do something that maybe they've been putting off or whatever. And
absolutely,
and when you believe in what you do for people, you know, we'll accept any excuse, any reason, any outside circumstance that forces them to say, you know what, I'm gonna do this right now. I'm not waiting anymore. I'm not gonna be in fear anymore. I'm gonna do this, whatever it takes. And
absolutely.
So. And we all have that. I mean, I've talked to construction companies who have kind of had this, like there's little outside things that we could never have caused and wouldn't have caused, but it forces people, it pushes people in your door, which is where you can help them, right? It's where you can make a difference.
Absolutely.
And when you look at the $10,000, services that you provide, but you look at the before picture when they walk in, and they're afraid, they're unable to do certain things, and then you look at the after portion, and it's like it's much bigger than a $10,000 difference. It's a life difference for these people.
Yeah.
And your heart for them shows in our discussions about growing your business. Your heart for the people that you serve is so huge. And ironically, doing more, getting the money to do more for people that you don't want to charge that much is part of like why you've kept coming up. I'm laying in bed. I'm like, I need to talk to Radlyn about this. You know, it's just something. So I'm so excited to hear that. I look forward to seeing how you just continue to serve this population. And I was going to ask you if there's like a tip or strategy or tool that you could offer people, no matter what industry they're in, that could, help them grow their business. Something that you've relied on or that you used, you were surprised how it worked, something that you could give.
All right. This is a hat tip to Michelle Pippin.
Awesome. I didn't know this.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I know you did. So when we met in that strategy session, one thing that what you told me is, you're talking about the life cycle of the client, the life cycle of a particular client. And we started getting into, who comes in the door the most, and obviously had this very, very valuable discussion for a fantastic value. Okay, let me just say that. You said, all right, so one of the things that we do a lot of is we help married couples get the green card. So you have a U.S. citizen spouse, and then you have a foreign national, and they've met, they fall in love, which is another fantastic part of my job, that I get to be there right at the beginning of a marriage. Now, how awesome is that? We all know what it's like at the very beginning of a marriage, right?
That's right. It's a good time.
It's a good time for the kids, for the mortgage, for everything.
Right.
So, I mean, I am with these people. I'm just taking in their energy. It's my favorite part. Like, I love it. And they're stressed to an extent because of the immigration, but their love is there. So when we get that initial lawful permanent resident status, the green card, that green card's only good for 2 years. So you said, hey, well, what are you doing? What do you have to do to renew that green card? Well, a year and 9 months down the road, they've got to go through another process to get their 10-year card. And then you ask the question, well, what happens after that? It's like, well, then they're eligible to apply for U.S. citizenship. And your question to me was, well, what are you doing about those processes number 2 and 3? And I'm like, nothing. I guess my strategy, something to throw out to the group is kind of look at the life cycle of the client, of the business, and what are you doing to reach out to them? Yeah. Are you intentionally going after them at steps 2 and 3 or 4, 5, 6, or 7 to bring them back into your fold, and so you can continue to help them? And so what was happening prior was that my clients calling me. My clients are calling me. It's like, hey, I got this letter from USCIS and says I got to renew my green card. And I'm like, why in the hell didn't you get that from our office?
Right.
We should have been the one to tell you that information, or we should have been talking to you throughout this time frame. So now, from your advice and your tip, we send that information out. I mean, your idea was brilliant. So here, tell the group. This is, it's the 2 millimeter rule, right? It's a little change.
Yes.
And it's send a letter out, send it in a special envelope, send it in a green envelope.
Yeah.
We're talking about the green card. And have your steps, have your next steps. And that information is so helpful to my clients. It's special because it's in this green envelope, and they keep it safe. They keep it in a safe place. And it's more information than just about renewing your green card. It's what you should or shouldn't do while you're a permanent resident these next 2 years. And I threw in some funny things like you should not commit a crime, for example.
That's helpful.
But yeah, right. But other things like do not stay out of the country for more than 6 months. If you change your address, you need to update it with USCIS. We'd be happy to do that for you since you're our clients and we want you to come back. So it is these extra added services that we talk about and we continuously remind our clients about, so they know that they come back to us not because some other external factor told them to, but because we have been gently reminding them for the future 3 years. So that I think that's kind of important because it's something that I just completely didn't even think about. So
well, I think all of us have that. Yeah. We focus a lot on the beginning part of the funnel, right? Getting new people, and even when you talk about I need more leads, and sometimes I'm like, actually, you don't need more leads. We need to be good stewards of the leads that you have, and for all of us, I think that we sort of think that we don't want to be pushy, and so we sort of think that we want to keep. Stay in someone's face. And yet it's up to us to make them remember who we are and what we do and how we serve them. And I think that the analogy that I give to people who might be on the fence about this and say, well, I don't want to keep pushing, or I don't want to keep showing up asking for money. And we've all been to a fabulous restaurant, right? That we couldn't believe was in our area and nobody told us about it. It was the best thing ever. And we go 4 date nights in a row, right? And then somehow, we go to someplace else and we forget about that fabulous restaurant. We completely forget. Right. And then a year and a half later, like, oh my God, how did I forget about this? And it's their job to make us remember them. They didn't get our email. They didn't follow up with us. Hey, we haven't seen you in a while. And your business just lends itself to that process so that,
right. Absolutely.
So that they're not, I can imagine being in their shoes, seeing an envelope come from that organization, is it UCIS? Is that yeah,
USCIS, right?
USCIS. It's, that's probably one, like the worst bill ever, right? Like, it's coming in. It's
Right,
probably
right,
not
right,
something you're
exactly.
super excited to open. I can
Yeah,
imagine that, right? Because
right. And then also when they're probably thinking in the back of my head, well, why didn't my lawyer send me this? Why didn't my lawyer let me know this? And even though the process that we've gone through with them for that first part is over, they still think of us as their attorneys,
sure,
and so we have to have that mentality of, attorneys for life, service for life, products for life.
That's right.
Whatever you're putting out there in the world, creating, you got to think about it for life, not just the current client. And another thing is that I got to give 2 tips.
Yeah, perfect.
Can I give a second one? So something that you said, talking about we need more leads. Look to your current client base. Look to who they know and what they can offer you as far as referrals, and ask them for it. And just, you're right. As entrepreneurs and business owners, we're just like, gotta get that next lead. Okay, what else can we spend money on to bring leads to the business? And I love how on your website you're like, don't spend another dime on advertising, and just fantastic advice. So you look at you look at what you have already, and then you take your client that you have, and you completely delight them, right? You delight them so they talk about you, and they want to refer their friends and family to you. So, and those are 2 things. I'm not perfect. We're not perfect. We're not a perfect organization, obviously, that we have to remind ourselves about,
right.
And the whole delighting the client, I got to remind myself about that. Like, okay, for us, it's another case, right?
Right.
As far as the process and everything is concerned, but for them, it's a completely whole new experience that they're going through. So that's something that I try to talk to our people about. It's new for them.
Yeah.
You've answered this call a million times.
That's right.
But you act like this is the first time you've ever heard anything like this. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe you just got a reckless driving ticket. I am so sorry.
Right.
But we know exactly what to do in those situations. So, and again, it's not. Look, it is selling, okay, but it's giving. It's giving information. So you can't. For people out there who are like, oh my gosh, I don't know how to sell. What if I don't know how to sell? You're not. You're giving information. Right. You're helping people. So I think that's one of the things that. I've been doing this. I've been an attorney since 1999, right? So however many years that is. So I've been doing this for a really long time. And again, like I told you, I still sitting in the conference room looking at the client base and like, every $10,000, like I can't say it, I can't do it. And we all have to just take control of that, because just like you said earlier, when I'm done with a case and it goes well, I say to my husband, like, I could have charged $200,000 for that, and that would have not been enough.
Right.
Right.
And they would have felt great about it on the other side. Right.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. And so I went to some tech conference in Richmond for attorneys, and there's a law firm out there that puts on their fee agreement, okay, this is how much the fees are. At the end of this process, you can either take away from that or you can add more to it.
Right.
And I was just like, oh my God, wouldn't that be amazing? If we had something like that, and we're not going to do that, okay, not yet. Right. But if we had something like that, how much would I want to delight my clients, right?
Right.
And not take them for granted and call them back within 24 hours, because you want to get the money, you want to get that bottom line that you asked for. But gosh, maybe you can give a tip.
Right.
Give a tip. And you definitely don't want to be taken away. So it's something that I keep in my head a lot. It's like, if they could give you a tip, would they?
Right.
If they could pay you more for excellent, outstanding service,
yeah.
would they? So, or would they take it away? And sometimes you have to be honest with yourself, like, you know what? This is a returning client. They're going to take it away. They're going to take $500,000 off the bottom line because you didn't serve them well. You got a good outcome, but are they constantly calling up? It's like, I need an update. I need an update. How come nobody's giving me an update? Just little things like that, which, it's an impact on the client in the end.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think we're always kind of tweaking that, even in this process with the, women who out interviews, one of the things that I, we was talking with the team yesterday was, I don't want them calling us or emailing us. What about this? What about this?
Yeah, right.
And
Exactly.
It's not that we don't want them to call, but it's that we want to be able to give them up front. And this is new. So I get it. I'm not placing blame, but we just always want to keep honing that and tweaking that and speaking to them. So is there, I just want to give you a chance to share, you just got back from an exciting event and I wanted to kind of give you a chance to share about that because I know you're really on fire. And then we'll wrap up with why and how you chose WOW because I'm humbled by your membership even. And so, but first tell me about the event that you and your husband just got back from.
Okay. So John and I just went to Tony Robbins' #1 life and business strategist in the world. We went to his Unleash the Power Within event in San Jose, California, and it was a big time commitment. It was Thursday through Sunday. It was full out, full days. You show up at 7, you leave. You show up at 7 a.m., you leave at 2 a.m. And we've never worked so hard in our lives, really, on a day. We don't work 15-hour days, obviously.
Right.
We have family. But I am a completely different person. And I told you guys, at the beginning of this call, I'm like, you caught me on a really good day.
That's awesome.
I just got back. And I am just completely pumped up. It's all about certainty. It's all about knowing exactly what you want. And it's also getting rid of the limiting beliefs that you have. And you talk a lot about this, Michelle, in your workshops and when you get on Facebook, you talk about the limiting beliefs. What are your limiting beliefs and how are they holding you back? How are these limiting beliefs holding you back? Whether it's personal, whether it's health, whether it's in business, in your relationships. And John and I, we woke up every single morning with a Kool-Aid hangover because it was unreal, the information and the experience that we had. And not only that, just like the membership, just like WOW, you meet amazing people who have and this is a very small percentage of the population, okay? Millions and millions of people have done this, but to play full out in your life, to play full out every single minute of your life, you freaking owe that to yourself, right? You absolutely owe that to yourself. I mean, you do not take anything less than outstanding for yourself, for anything around you. And you know what? We walk out, and you go in the airport, and John and I are like, re-entry is going to be hard. Re-entry into the real world is going to be hard. And then on the airplane, it's like, no, it's not.
That's right. It's
not going to be hard. You know why? Because it's in you. It's nothing external. It is inside of you.
Right.
And you just become the human being that you were meant to be. Okay. Right. At one of these events. And you become the person that you were meant to be, that your creator made you to be. Okay. Tony Robbins said one thing. He's like, there's this, God, he's like, this guy's talking up to God. He's like, God, I just need more time. And then God looks down and he's like, there's no more time. I just need more you.
Right.
I need more you. Okay. So that was just there's so many things I could say. I can't take up an hour of that. I obviously have consumed the Kool-Aid, and I'm super, super pumped and happy about it. You guys have got to get yourselves to UPW. One's coming up in March in LA. Wherever you need to go, you got to go.
Yeah, that sounds so fun, and I will definitely look into it for myself.
It's a party. It's a huge party. I mean, it's just a party of life.
one of the things that, like, bringing it kind of to a practical point, like, so it's bringing more of you and living full out, and one of the things I ask WOW members to do is to give me 4 hours a month in that virtual mastermind, just 4 hours
Right.
where you're not doing client work, you're not doing this. And that sounds like such a little amount of time, but a lot of business owners don't give their business 4 hours a month dedicated just to grow it.
Right.
But, I often talk about like the vacation scenario where you're leaving on Friday morning to go out of town. And so Thursday is like the most productive day you've had in 4 months. And because you've got a list, you've got an agenda, you're bringing all of your stuff, you're not distracted. And there's 2 thoughts I have about that. One, we can have that any day that we want, right? Like we can have those Thursdays any day we want. And
Absolutely.
2, when people find themselves unable to focus and distracted and stuff like that, I'm wondering, like, and we're talking about this a little bit today at 1 o'clock in the Facebook group, but what are you tolerating? What are you escaping from? Like, we love this stuff. You should love it. You should be passionate and excited. What are you escaping from? Right? This is your creation. And so I encourage people, with me, I can work relatively short hours because, like, I ain't playing during those hours, right? There's a stop time and a start time and a stop time to everything that I have on my agenda. I know what comes next. I'm prepared. And that for me allows me to live full out because it protects my boundaries and my priorities.
That's awesome.
But I'm not distracted or I'm not like phoning anything in, if that makes sense,
That's wonderful. And I think that's why so many people are attracted to you, because you do that. I mean, you practice what you preach. I mean, that's key, because admittedly, I get very easily distracted, so much so someone's like, maybe you should consider ADHD. Have you ever considered that? Have you ever considered getting on Adderall? I was talking to one of my friends whose husband is a psychiatrist, and she's like, no, you don't need to do that. Right. We're all overly medicated.
That's right.
But I'm distracted, and you got to focus, you got to concentrate, and like you said, you got a start time, you got an end time, you got to know your purpose when you're going in there, even for the littlest things and the littlest tasks, and not let the time vampire steal your time away. That's because it's constant interruption. You get absolutely nothing done. But you protect that time. I mean, there's just so many. You guys all know this.
Yeah. And
well, what I was going to say was, your second question is, the value that I've gotten in the membership is that, me personally, and I truly believe that there's every person out there, whether they want to admit it or not, I have got to get myself pumped up. Yeah. Okay. I've got to get myself pumped up. I've got to listen to motivational stuff in the morning. I've got to rock it out, dancing in the morning. I got to get myself pumped up for life. I mean, I'm sorry. I just don't wake up and, I mean, I will now. I am now. I did this morning. I was extremely exhausted. I woke up and I was like, yeah, I'm going to just kill this day. But I have to constantly be surrounding myself by people who have the same mindset. And that's the benefit of this membership. You go to the meetings and you're just like, these women are just like me. We have all the same struggles, and we're there together. We're trying to solve the problems together, the issues that we have together as women in business. And there's a lot. There's the work-life balance. Is it really work-life balance, or is it really work-life integration? Which one is it? Who the hell cares what it's called, right? It's whatever is right for you.
That's right.
And, you and I have been talking about this for a really long time. You've been coaching me through this. You're like, Michelle, I really want to be home. I really want to be home for my kids. It was always one of the things that I wanted to do. And we talked about this right before I went on this, to Tony Robbins. But then the first day, that was my breakthrough. I mean, compared to so many people that are the 10,500 people, this breakthrough may seem kind of silly, right? Like, so my breakthrough was, I'm going to be home. I don't care. I will make it work.
That's right.
I'm going to come home every day at 3 o'clock. And when I absolutely can't do it, that's fine. No problem. But that's where I'm going to be.
That's right. And I tell you, like, we all get to choose that. Like, sometimes I feel like when people complain about their business and they'll say, the people that come into my business are cheap. They won't pay, or they, whatever. And it's like, well, you created this beast, right? What are you doing to make yourself the cheapo attractor? Or, even the rules of engagement. And, regardless of industry, there are so many sort of assumed rules that we have to do. And I've been privileged to know personally people have like broken all those rules, like real estate agents who don't have open houses and don't work on the weekends, mortgage loan officers who work like a 9 to 5, and they say, hey, if you want a mortgage here, like you'll take off work, and we make up these rules of engagement for our staff, for our clients, and sometimes I think we out of fear we acquiesce and think we need to do whatever. And so I believe you. You'll be home at 3 because that's what Radlyn does, right?
Yeah,
and
that's what
means,
I do.
That means people will have to see you before 3, and it's just kind of a something that can go, very assumed. So I hope at 1 o'clock now, when you watch this video, it'll be too late, but at 1 o'clock today, like we're talking about how we change these rules of engagement without like pissing people off and and stuff like that, and I just give a quick tip for everybody watching this. If you have kids, for a fact that there's certain things you can get away with younger kids. Now I have teens, so it doesn't work anymore.
Yeah,
but with young kids, you say something like, they say, can we go up and, I don't know, pet the horse or whatever. And you're like, no. And the truth is maybe you're just in a rush or whatever. And they're like, oh, why? It's like, oh, it's against the rules. And kids just get that, right? Like, oh, it's against the rules. We must not be able to do it,
Right.
And so, but our clients if we just kind of have like a non-apologetic, like, I hope you'll like me anyway, but this is the way I do this, or here's why, that gets us into conversations that clients feel almost disrespected and frustrated. But if we're just like, these are my hours. This is, these are what I'm available. It's like non-emotional on our part. And it's just like that story with the kids. Oh, it's just against the rules. Oh, okay. That's just the rule. And people get it. They kind of accept it. It's like, oh, well, she's kind of different. She only works until 3, her last appointment's at 2 p.m. And it's not like, oh, I can't believe her. It's just like, oh, I've got to get in. I got to use my lunch break. Got to go in late to work, whatever it is.
Right.
But they'll work it out, and you'll be better.
Absolutely.
For them when these rules are implemented. So I'm excited about that. I'm going to go ahead and close this interview out. I am so excited to have you. Stay on the line for me because I want to talk with you just like 2 minutes after we hang up. But Radlyn, you need to go to, it's Gardner and Mendoza.com. It'll be right underneath this video. And I really want you guys to check her out because she's awesome. And I'll talk with you guys soon. Thank you for being here.